Yo, this is Neville Gallimore from the Dallas Cowboys, and I want to give a major shout out to Mike Tag. Keep bringing the hype to the Cowboys Nation. We love and appreciate it. Now, can you dig it? Let's get it.
Hey, I told you guys! Don't go burying us just quite yet! All I've heard for the last 5 weeks is we want Dallas! So all you haters, you come down to me! You fuel the fire! Because I want it! Are you gonna say, hey, you dig it?
What is up? Hopefully you all can hear me good. I've had a very strenuous day. I was telling Jimmy D about it, and then I got sidetracked. Didn't realize what time it was, but I have this bad habit of leaving my charger at certain places, and I left my charger again. So I had to go through all my kids' computers, and I couldn't get everything wasn't working right. It was a little choppy with the video. So I had to go to their school issued computer. So I'm putting some tax dollars to good use. So now hopefully you guys can hear me all right. Hopefully you can see me all right. But you know, the show must go on. So I had to do it. So I appreciate it. Before we get started, obviously make sure if you're new to the show, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I tell you what, last couple post game and pre-game hype videos I did, I think we've got over 150,000 views, picking up some new subscribers, new followers. Even on Instagram, I'm not on Instagram as much. Maybe I need to promote that a little bit more. I got a lot of love and a lot of hate on Instagram. And then, of course, TikTok, I've got a ton. So, Jimmy D, before we get started, what I was thinking, you tell me if we should do this. I was going to pull some excerpts of some of the messages that I've been getting on these social media platforms. And maybe on one of the shows, we'll read them to the crowd so they can see the true love that your boy gets on these platforms.
Well, I think that you should show that because it shows the kind of abuse you take for Cowboys Nation. You know what? And so I really think you should show everybody that. You know what? I'm glad you're in a happy mood. You sound like you're in a happy mood. You deserve to be in a happy mood. As you can see, I'm in a different spot tonight. They put me in isolation after yesterday's Falcons debacle.
Oh, we're going to get into that. You broke my heart. Go ahead.
How is it that the team with the third best yards per carry and second most yards rushing in the league, you're down on the 5-yard line, and it's kind of a rainy day, and we've been running it all day. We've been running all over Washington, and we decide to pass the ball. Arthur Smith, I don't understand that, and I love Arthur Smith as a coach, and he's a head coach who's calling the offensive plays. I shook my head at that. I basically, in fairness, after that game, I shut off I didn't watch football the rest of the day. I was so disgusted. And so now I'm in isolation for a couple of days. That's where I am.
Sometimes you need that, and sometimes you need it. I'm glad Jose, my man Jose, has been able to. We missed him last week after the Minnesota beating. He was nowhere to be found. My Cowboys fan was nowhere to be found to maybe finally say, "Hey, this team looks good." So now he comes in and Thanksgiving. A lot of people. I don't want to jump too far back to Thanksgiving because we got a lot to talk about in the NFL for this weekend. But the only thing I'll say, because I really didn't talk about it, is, start off slow. We've lost 3 Thanksgiving Day games in a row. My heart's been broken for 3 straight years. For some reason, we just have never played well lately on Thanksgiving. Even probably before that, I just remember always getting blown out. So, you're watching the first half, and I kept telling people, man, I'm just, these Giants, they're scrappy. They're going to hang around. And sure enough, man, they're hanging around. And then the Cowboys finally wake up in the second half, drop 21 points on them. They're winning by 15. They gave them garbage points. I wish they didn't, because all that does for the haters who don't watch the game. Well, 42 million people watch the game, so I know the haters watch the game. But it gives them a little fuel to say, oh, well, they didn't cover. Oh, you only won by 8, when 15 sounds so much better. So I wish we wouldn't have allowed it. But we put, obviously put some guys trying to save some health. So we kind of laid low a little bit, a little prevent, and felt bad for the Giants. They're scrappy. I think the Giants are going to take the Eagles in one of those two games.
Yeah, I think so too. And just looking at the Eagles against Green Bay, I mean, Aaron Rodgers got knocked out. Now, I mean, that was a touchdown game. Eagles and Green Bay. But getting back to Thanksgiving, I text you, Parsons just took over. I mean, your defense took over, and Parsons was the catalyst. And I that was impressive because that was a little tight for a while. I know you probably were a little bit concerned.
Too close for comfort. And what's up, Jack? The other thing too is I got my Jose was at the game last week. Well, we'll talk about that. But with the computer, I don't have the big screen. I'm an old guy, can't see. So I'm trying to read. So if you see me going in and out trying to read stuff, I'm trying to read the comments to make we get going. But yeah, the Falcons, just jumping on them. The Falcons, I watched the game to the end, and it was like, all right, they're going to pull out the touchdown. They're right there. And then it's like, God. And Washington, you got to give them credit, man. They've been scrappy. Obviously, they beat Philly. They beat Atlanta. They're winning some games. And, we're going to get into the playoff picture. But right now, you got the whole NFC East is in the playoffs.
Yeah, and you know what? It sucks because, like you said, we were this close. First of all, why would you throw the ball when we're looking to run clock? They had no timeouts left at that point. So, going to the third down, you have to run the ball. I don't understand the play call. And again, not only that, we've been running all day. So what's the problem? Lucky for us that Tampa Bay ended up, blowing it to Cleveland. And that being said, Tom Brady, I think there was a stat that he hadn't lost a game when leading inside of 2 minutes in whatever it was.
It was I think 180. I think it was, I don't know. Maybe that was a different stat. He's 85-0 or 100 and something. He never lost. And I watched that game in Tampa. They lost their right tackle. He's out 3 to 4 weeks. So they're getting their line's been banged up. You guys had a golden opportunity. You wasted it. Tampa's going to win the division. So really, the tricky thing's going to be, it's going to be either Dallas at Tampa, or if Philly stumbles and Dallas takes the division, which I'm hoping obviously that happens, then it's going to be Philly at Tampa. And, Tampa don't scare me, but I hate playing Tom Brady. I've said that a million times. The only team, if I were going to say in the playoffs, that I would be concerned with, I've already done all the, the analysis, is San Francisco. San Francisco, they win again. They're playing good. And that's they're going to be formidable. And you kind of see Seattle. You see that, San Francisco is starting to overtake them. Now Seattle's not even in the playoff picture. So maybe Seattle's kind of that high rise that they had, they're getting back down to reality a little bit, and San Francisco's going to run away with it. And then you'll kind of see what happens for that last playoff spot.
You know what it is? I can't see any of the comments, so I don't know what's going on because I'm on my phone right now. But, I'm a little bit disappointed that you're already writing us off. I mean,
that game, the games I've watched with the Falcon, I got to say, man, you guys, they handed you this. It's what you and I talked a little bit earlier. When the Buccaneers lose to the Browns, that's a gift. That's a gimme because everyone knew the Browns would, the Bucs are going to beat the Browns. You guys had a chance to go one up, beat Washington, a solid team in the conference, right? Give you that extra conference win that you need. And,
on the road.
And you stutter stepped and you dropped the ball.
Yeah, it's again, I just look at it like this. We have Tampa Bay. We have 2 division games remaining, 2 to 3 division games remaining, and again, Tampa Bay. They lost at home to Cleveland. Now, granted, we blew it. You're right. It was handed to us on a silver platter, better than that Thanksgiving turkey I had on Thursday. It was handed to us, and so yeah, I was pissed, and that's why I'm in isolation for a couple of days here, but. I think there's plenty of time left. I don't see the Saints. Carolina, they won yesterday. They're only a game
but they played they played the Broncos. That doesn't count.
Played the USFL team.
Look at, I mean, Jose. I'm glad Jose. Finally, Jose. He's a little off me. He's off me a little bit, trying to bring me down. He said the Falcons have turned into canaries.
Jose, come on, man. See, now here's where I wish I could read all the comments. There's plenty of time left, Jose. I know you're a Yankee fan. I love you, and that's good. But no, don't write us off yet.
Let's go through it. Let's go through a few because we want to jump through this chat. Tyron Smith's almost ready to be at full practice. That's going to be a benefit. get him late in the season, obviously, as long as he's healthy. But I think the best thing that happened, like I said before, him getting injured early on, because it was never a matter of if, it was when, him getting injured early on and got the development of Tyler Smith and got that offensive line. So I feel really good about the offensive line, whether Tyron's back 100% or whether he's not. I feel really solid about the offensive line. Talking about the playoffs. So we've got the playoff picture set, right now, and we're coming down that home stretch. So we've got the Eagles, the Vikings, San Francisco, and the Bucks are leading the division. You got the Cowboys, Giants, and Washington, right now, if the season ended today. That's pretty much it. So you'd have Dallas going to Tampa, right? And you'd have Washington going to Minnesota and the Giants playing San Francisco, if all that. Now, obviously, things are going to change. We still got 6 games or whatever we got to go. So we got a ways to go. The Eagles are the intriguing one, and Jose made a good point. Eagles are 0-1 against teams they played for the second time, because I talked about it on earlier shows with Jimmy Johnson said. The Eagles, if you watch them, they struggle. As the game goes on, these teams start figuring out what they're doing. Now, I'll give the Eagles credit. I mean, they are running the ball like no other. I mean, 350-plus rushing yards, against the Packers. But I'll say on the flip side, I mean, the Packers put a lot of points on them. They made, Love, who's looked like crap every time they made him look like, maybe he's a legit NFL quarterback. So I don't believe in their defense. I think I don't want to say the Eagles are frauds because they're 10-1. You got to give them a little bit of respect, but I don't worry about them. Like I said, the team that I would worry about playing if I was Dallas and the season ended today, the team that would concern me the most would be San Francisco.
I tell you what, San Francisco, they're looking good at the right time. They play Miami next week, San Francisco, if I remember correctly.
I know they play Miami coming up.
That's going to be a hell of a game. I'm looking forward to that because that's going to really, set the tempo. You get the NFC West versus AFC East, and that's going to be an intriguing game to see how that plays out because Miami did what they were supposed to do yesterday, and San Francisco again, like you said, they're kind of overtaking Seattle. That's a game that'll be my secondary game this weekend that I'm watching is Miami and the 49ers.
Well, the only game I care about is the one I'm going to. I'm back to AT&T Sunday night versus the Colts. I'm bringing a Colts fan with me. I want him to witness the beating with his own eyes while I'm enjoying it right next to him. So I'm going to make sure that happens. And the funny thing is, I should pull up the email. Excuse me. I thought finally Jerry Jones was going to give your boy a little bit of love. I get this email from the Dallas Cowboys that says, "Hey, Mike, your sweet tickets are now available to, download the, just click on the app and you're ready for the suite." Had a little video from Jerry Jones telling me to get ready. And then I got an email 2 minutes later saying, "Please disregard the email about the suite tickets. That was a mistake." So still, I'm getting no respect, but I did want to touch on, because you talked about Parsons and how he wrecked, in that game against the Giants, and there was a late flag that they didn't really replay. No one ever really saw it till later. That gave them that extra 15 yards. It kind of put them in that position to get that gimme touchdown, the mercy touchdown at the end of the game. But the center for the Giants, I guess he was playing dirty all game. And Micah Parsons, for lack of a better word, he bitch slapped him. And open hand, so he didn't get suspended. He knows the rules. Open hand. Gave him a little slap across the face. And the guy came out and said, basically, if you don't have the skill, like talking about himself, and I'm paraphrasing, but he didn't have the skill to compete with some of these guys, so you got to do other tricks. And Parsons had come out and said, his tricks is playing dirty, which I don't get. I mean, there's no place for that kind of, you're not looking to hurt anyone in football.
No.
With professionals. You hit hard. I mean, if you hurt them within the rules of the game, that's so be it. But, it's just dirty. And it's unfortunate when you see that kind of stuff. But I love Parsons. He handled it. And he knew the rules. If he punched him, there's a good chance he could have got suspended. Gave him a little slap across the face. He'll take the fine. No big deal. And we'll be good. We'll be good to go.
They are professionals, and they go in. You never want to injure a fellow combatant on the field.
Oh, wait a minute. My man Aaron, this must have been a blast email that went out about the suites, because he got that same email. He got bamboozled. So I guess it's
Well,
something the Cowboys did. I just wish they would have downloaded them because then I could have took a snapshot and I at least would have got in the suites. I wouldn't have mind that. I hung out and found a place to chill and eat a little bit. But yeah, and again, going back to the offensive line, you got Tyron. If they're healthy, Tyron, Tyler, you got Biotis, you got Martin, you got Steele. I mean, this could be the one time, knock on wood. We still got games to go, so you don't get too excited. But we're healthy. We're getting guys back. I mean, we'll get into the OBJ stuff and we'll talk about James Washington. He's on his road to come back. So we're starting to get these guys back. So it's going to be interesting to see how this team goes down the stretch. And my man Doug, who's at all the games. I don't know if Doug, if you're going to be at the Colts game. If you are, definitely hit me up. But yeah, someone must have hacked the Cowboys website. I wish they would have done some giveaway or something, give me a free prize. I
think it's their minds betrayed them.
Probably the Washington owner. He's probably up to some tricks.
Well, it's Thanksgiving, so we're sitting there. I'm up with my wife's family in upstate New York. Not even really New York; it's the fake New York. Up in Rochester, they're all Bills fans, and I'm sitting there, and they're crying most of the game, and all of a sudden they're cheering at the end. And I think I might have upchucked a little bit of my Thanksgiving dinner in my mouth. Yesterday was a full vomit session after the Falcons game, but that day was just a little bit in my mouth. I've been hearing them chirp after the game. It was disgusting.
Talking about the playoffs, what's your opinion? I've read the teams, kind of the matchups where you're at, but not even so much the matchups because that's going to change. I think the only constant I think is whoever comes out of the South is going to be the 4th seed. So more than likely, I think whoever doesn't win the division is going to be the Cowboys or the Eagles is going to end up playing, Tampa, whichever one it is. But what's your thoughts of that playoff pictures? Or, you're seeing some of these teams coming up. Is there someone that you're saying on the rise? Like the Vikings, they got blown out, but they look pretty good the next week. So maybe they're going to battle back a little bit.
And it's tough because it's like you said, week to week, you don't know what you're going to get. The NFL finally got the parity that they wanted, right? NFC, so damn strong. It's amazing that you guys can end up with potentially 3 playoff teams out of it, right? But Minnesota, I don't know. They did bounce back. You guys whooped their ass last week, and they came back strong yesterday. So it's hard to tell. I don't really have any strong opinions because you just know what's going to happen one week to the next. I mean, San Francisco, Seahawks a couple weeks ago we thought were a shoe-in, and now San Francisco took over, and they're not going anywhere now.
Yeah. Well, hey, comment for you, Jimmy, because I know you can't read them, so I'm trying to help. Jack said, Jimmy, you're in my area, Central New York, Bills and Giants fans all around him, so he can feel your pain.
So. Yeah, I don't blame him. It's like really
no,
it got a little old.
Doug is going to be at the game too, so Doug is definitely. We got to meet up. I'm thinking about going. My buddy and I might go to the Big 12, whatever it is. The game's on Saturday. We might see if we can just get some cheap tickets or standing room or something like that. We'll probably end up doing that on Saturday.
Yeah, it's always a fun time. I was talking to some people at Thanksgiving actually about, Texas Stadium and all that, and what an experience it is. It's just such a good time. The whole thing between, when you get in and you got the, the cheerleaders and all the show that they have, on the little field next to the stadium, and you walk in, you got Texas Live. That's a hell of an experience. And I don't care if you're a Cowboys fan or not. I don't even care if you're rooting for, in either team. It is a fun time.
No, it's good. I'm looking forward to it. I was telling you, I'm going to what just happened that way. 3 of the next 4 games, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be, this weekend, Texans. I'm not going to that one. Then Jacksonville, obviously being in Florida, quick car ride. So I'm going to go up to Jacksonville to that game, bringing the whole family. And then the family, we're going to that game. And then the family is going to Christmas Eve. We're going to go to Philly. And it's funny, I've got 2 tickets. So we got to figure out standing room only or something. My wife and daughter are going to go, and then we'll swap out. We'll figure something out to make sure that we can both, all 4 of us can be in a seat at some point. So should be good, man. I'm looking forward to it.
I tell you, Jacksonville, Horseface, he looked good yesterday against Baltimore, man. That was a tough game.
That was my other one, man. That was amazing comeback, man. And I tell people that Jacksonville, when that schedule came out, it was, it's all a matter of when you play these teams. If you're going to tell me you're going to play Jacksonville week 1, I'm like, all right, we'll whoop their ass. We'll move on. But playing them late in the season, I knew they're going to get better and better and better and better. And they have. And Trevor Lawrence is getting better. He's getting confidence with his receivers. The running game's going. I mean, Doug Peterson, he's a good coach. I mean, he brought some stability. Obviously, the disaster they had with the guy from Ohio State, Urban Meyer, which we might get into that a little bit and in some of our pick segments, something like that. But doing that was that's impressive. So Cowboys, it's not going to be easy. It's not we're not just going to steamroll them. I think we'll win. I think we'll pull away, but they better be ready to play because Jacksonville will be.
But it gets back to what you were saying last year, where you thought maybe the Cowboys peaked at the wrong time. Look at, the Eagles, they peaked and people are figuring them out. Jimmy Johnson was right. People figure them out. These games are closer, they're tighter. And look, man, I think the Cowboys or the Giants have an opportunity to overtake the Eagles at this stage of the game.
Well, the Giants have them twice. So they've got their shot. We need them to stumble. They play the Titans, which, the Titans lost to the Bengals. The Bengals are starting to heat up. So, they're starting to do what they did last year. So it's not going to be easy for Philly. And they're struggling stopping the run. And you got Henry coming up there, man. Not a lot of people want to tackle him. So it's going to be interesting. So.
Yeah, it is. And again, it gets back to parity. That there was a stat mentioned during the game yesterday that there was like 65% of the NFL games this year have been settled by a touchdown or less.
Yeah.
There's your parity you wanted, okay? They finally got it.
No, that's what it is. And what's up, Steven? Joining the show in the chat. We appreciate it. Well, that's what they got. And it's that one possession league, and that's you just never get too comfortable. When you look at the division, you look at the conference, the AFC. You got the Chiefs, you figured. The Dolphins lead in the East. Not a lot of people probably figured that, right? You got the Titans, which people probably figured, and then you got the Ravens. You got the Bengals as a wild card, the Jets as a wild card, and obviously the Bills. So you got 3 teams out of the AFC East. So right now you got 7 teams out of the East between both conferences. Jets are kind of, that's going to be interesting with what they've got going on with quarterback. They got the former Cowboy backup now starting. And, hey, they played all right. I mean, you never know. That dude made a big mistake, Zach, their other starter, when he didn't take ownership. I don't know if you watched that the week before.
Yeah.
And they asked him, do you take the, blame for the bad offense or something like that? And he says, no. And rule as a quarterback is you always take all the blame. You always deflect all. You never put the blame on anyone else but yourself. And that was kind of a bad thing. It was a bad.
And you know what? And he paid the price for it. I mean, at that point, pride goes out the window. You put your big boy pants on. You go in the media. You say the right things. And he didn't do it. And it cost him his starting spot for now.
Yeah. And then the last thing and I want to jump to the Odell because I know we had a comment by Stephen. I think it was Aaron. About Odell. I don't know if you saw Lamar Jackson sent out a tweet. And, I always say players, man, I'll give you advice. Unless it's one of my videos or something like that, then you go ahead and retweet like, Tank does, Parsons did, and such. But, man, when someone's coming at you and some guy just tweeted out to him that this is why you can't give a guy $250 million of guaranteed money. It shouldn't come down to the kicker. And he's probably right. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, if you're playing that game, I mean, they should win. It shouldn't have come down to that. But as a quarterback, you're gonna take that kind of stuff. I get all the heat, and I do my best not to dish it out. But I'm just some schlub. I'm not a franchise quarterback. You got to let that stuff go. So he basically cussed a few times and told the guy to eat a blank and. And so
I didn't
on
see
and so forth. Oh, I'll send it to you because he deleted it. But what happens with tweets is you can delete it, but if it was retweeted at some point, man, it's all over the place, and his are going to be retweeted and stuff all over. So he can't hide from it, and it's too bad. But these athletes, man, they gotta stay off of social media when it comes, especially it was literally maybe 10 minutes after the game. It wasn't even. A couple hours, 3-4 hours after the game. It was shortly after the game, maybe a half hour, 45 minutes or something.
Yeah, you need to think twice about that. You got to send that to me because I didn't see it. I didn't see.
No, I will. I will.
I
It's
saw
pretty funny.
Odell Beckham stuff, but I didn't see.
Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
see
we're gonna
that.
get so Odell Beckham. I'm not gonna get in the whole airline thing. I don't know what that. There's been mixed things on that, whether they were looking for trouble or he was being defiant and want to put a seatbelt on. I've been on some scary flights, man. I put my seatbelt on as soon as I get there, and it don't come off until I leave. So I'd always recommend wearing your seatbelt. But Odell, he's going on his little tour. And I've told people this, my opinion of it. The Giants are not in the mix. That's a courtesy. He played with them. He's going to go check him out. Unless they're offering him some outrageous money, which I don't think the Giants are going to do because they're kind of in that rebuild mode. And why would you play for Daniel Jones over Dak Prescott in our offense? That would make no sense. So I think the Giants are out. I think the Cowboys are in there, and I think they're using the Bills. I don't see him going to the Bills. I just don't know. I don't know how well he fits there. Just cold, really cold. He's come off those injuries. So I think everything that I've read and seen, Odell's going to be there. Now, like Michael Irvin said, I don't think we're either going to go to the Super Bowl with or without him. If we can get there, he ain't going to hurt. But he's another weapon in this offense. And you think about the way CD is heating up. CD is fine in his groove right now. And then you've got Gallup is coming back from that injury. Now you kind of see the effects of it. Takes a little while to get from that ACL. You got Beckham coming off that, 30 years old. I don't know how much of a help he'll be. He may be more of a decoy, especially early on, than a big playmaker. But if you can get him, why not?
Well, and look, we always say this isn't scripted. I'm going to go off a little. So I was on Twitter yesterday morning, and I was seeing all these things as it was happening with Beckham popping up. And then, the news flash popped up on ESPN that he was allegedly, because we don't know, we weren't there, in and out of consciousness, and he couldn't stay awake. I don't know if I believe that because I saw him walk off the plane looking just fine. But anyway, the thing is, though, it's like you said, getting back to, the guys tweeting. They need to keep their mouth shut. That's just a distraction. And do you want that kind of distraction right now? Especially with a guy who's injury prone? Is that what you want as a Cowboys fan? I mean,
Cowboys are a distraction. Cowboys live in that bubble. I mean, they're always going to be in there. So I think his personality is just. I mean, I don't think it's going to be anything more than what we already deal with every day. I mean, it's constant. I think I think that. I think the Cowboys need to make a move. I think more for anything, it's just kind of a little juice. I hate going back to the Dion signing because it was a little bit different. I was there. I was at the game against the Broncos. They signed Dion that week, right when I was there. I had the paper forever when we signed him. And it was really, it was us in San Francisco so much. So that was the big divide. And Dion was the guy to put you over the top, in their mind. But it gave Cowboys a lot of confidence. Obviously he was a great player, Hall of Fame player, but what he did more than anything, he gave the Cowboys confidence, the players confidence. And I think what Odell can do is I think that gives the players a little bit more confidence. They've been very vocal about it. You usually don't see a lot where they're as vocal about welcoming him here and wanting him here and all that kind of stuff. Because, I mean, Dak's come out, Mike has come out, CD's come out, Gallup's come out, Tank's come out. All these guys have come out. And typically the response always is, "Hey, we like our guys. If he's here, great. We like our guys. We like our receiver." They're saying, "Come on, man, help us. We're going on that Super Bowl run. We want you to join it." So the players are really all in more than any other team. You haven't seen that from the Giants. You haven't seen that from Buffalo. And then Jerry Jones just said something really sneaky. If you paid attention to it after the game Thursday, he said he had a good meeting with Odell. So I think it's already done. I think it's already basically in the works. If you look at it, he's going to the Giants, the Cowboys, and then the Bills last. I think he goes to the Giants. I think Monday he's visiting the Cowboys. I think he signed on Monday, and I think it's over. I think he'll be on the Cowboys.
Or goes to Buffalo, leverages that to try to get more dough. But the question is, how long do you sign him for? I mean, how long do you want
I think he's going to want a 2-year deal. I think he's going to want a 2-year deal, right? You think? I mean, they're not going to be able to do a 1 year, right? They're not going to be able to just sign him to 1 year. They're going to have to do 2 years.
But that's the thing, with him, and again, you get to that level and it sucks because these guys bust their asses and them and their families sacrifice a lot to get to that level. And unfortunately, he's had injuries. And now the only thing that scares me is he gets injured. You're on the hook on the cap for that money. Yeah. That's the only concern.
Yeah. And I think if Odell comes, I don't think it's the end of James Washington, even though he hadn't played. I think it'll be, maybe he'll be inactive for a while. I mean, they've got Tolbert active right now, so Tolbert he won't be active anymore. But it'll be interesting. But I just think that the opportunity to add a guy, especially a Super Bowl winner. We have no Super Bowl, at least no starters or anyone I can think of off the top of my head. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we don't have any guys on the team with Super Bowl experience and that kind of stuff that's been there, done that. And he's got that, and that's worth something. I said it before with some of the signings that we kind of missed on or they didn't want to do, and you got to give the Cowboys credit. Randy Gregory. Everyone kind of hammered that one. Dorrance Armstrong, that worked out. Von Miller's been pretty good with Buffalo. Then gets hurt. And you can never predict these kind of things. So it is what it is. But I personally would have loved to get a couple guys if the contract made sense. The Von Miller one definitely didn't make sense. But if you can get a couple of those guys that have championship experience in the locker room, because that's what we're missing. That's why in Ndamukong Suh, I wanted Suh because of that. Not that he has all this left in the tank, but he's got a nastiness. He's got that he's been there, done that. And I think that's something that you can never have enough of on this team. So.
No, it is. When you take veteran leadership.
Tolbert's getting cut. Go ahead. Sorry, I was reading the chat.
No, I was going to say. No, it's okay. No, read that. Remember, I can't see him, so you read him.
Yeah, no, it's just Jose Tolbert's getting cut. I know Jose doesn't like Tolbert. We've got Henry OBJ not taking anything less than 3 years. I know. I think OBJ with 3 years, that could make sense, but I think the Cowboys would probably try and structure it where they can get out in 2 if need be, because again, he is 30. So it's all on how they structured a deal. MC, what's up? He reached out to me. So it's always, I reached out because, get these names, you don't know who's who. So he definitely reached out on Twitter and messaged me, made sure I knew who it was. And again, any of you guys, if your name is different than what it says on here, hit us up. Let us know who we're talking to, because we'd always love to, match up the right people with the usernames and things like that. I know Tolbert's trash. He's played like shit. Is Jimmy? Someone came on late. Is Jimmy in a homeless shelter? They're probably worried about you in the game. So
in isolation. I'm in isolation right now after yesterday's woeful performance.
I know. Well,
I just want to get back to Odell Beckham and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I think that you can't understate the value of having veterans who've been there and done that, and they have the experience to be leaders on a team. So if anything, that will be the hopefully you get some miles out of them. But just that in and of itself is a great thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. What's even a greater thing, Jimmy, is when we get the opportunity to have Uncle Cheech. And this week is a real treat because Uncle Cheech is a big, he's a college guy. That's where he's made the bread. That's where he's cut his teeth in the college handicapping. So, when you got championship week coming up, he called me out and said, "Hey, I got to do a little bit more. We got to get a little bit more going on. So we're going to pop this on." So he's got a lot of the big college games for this weekend. He's going to be highlighting. Obviously he's going to do his pros, and we'll get that bonus Monday night pick for tonight. But without any further ado, let's get Uncle Cheech on here. But I know he's a busy man. Let's see here. Remember, I'm working on a different computer. I got to move this stuff around. There he is. What's up, Uncle Cheech? What's going on?
Mio Cugino.
Hey, had a little rough week this week.
Yes. So, the one that I had to hammer you on, I did question it, but I agreed with you. It was the Ohio State. So, what was your thoughts on that? That was a big game, and you got a 2 versus 3. I was a little surprised. What's your thoughts?
My thoughts. I listened to Urban Meyer. Cheap cigar. Listening to Urban Meyer. He said they were going to play cover 0. Make them throw, let them try to throw. And I think Ohio State called, I think they had 3 long touchdowns. I didn't get a chance to watch a game. I was in transit, so I listened to it on the radio, but I think they threw 3 deep ones for touchdown. And they said they'd never be able to run. And they ran all over them. So I learned 2 things that day. One, Ohio State overrated, and Urban Meyer's an idiot. Two things.
Yeah, you know what's even funnier is the Ohio State fans are now calling for Day to get fired, and they were chanting Urban Meyer's name. They want him back.
Oh yeah, very good. Smart.
You know what they're saying? They're saying, "Fire me! I'm already fired. Fire me!"
But anyway, I had the Florida FSU. Now the back and forth game. That was FSU won, was close. I had to give 9.5. I think they won by 7.
Yeah.
Then I had the Auburn Alabama as my upset. That ended up being a push. 22. Alabama won by 22. But my lock won again. Houston at Miami.
Yep.
Gave 12, but I'm going to give a piece of advice to all you first-time bettors out there. Give you a piece of advice. I usually won't give up that many points in a professional game. College, they're going to, but a professional game, I won't give them points. Because I'll tell you why. I said last week, I said Miami could put 60 on them, didn't I?
Yeah.
Remember that? I said they could put 60 on them. What was the score at the half? 30
they were up,
to nothing.
Yes.
30 to nothing. So what happens? Tua gets rolled up a little bit. Okay. They take him out for the second half.
Yes.
Now, Houston comes back within striking distance of the spread. That's where it could kill you. Pros don't care if they win by 1 point. In college, they would have sent him out and put 60 on him.
Yep.
And,
No, it's true.
And they treaded that 15-point mark with the Dolphins at home.
Yes. No, it's
now
true.
The Dolphins are going to be on the road the next 3 games. The next 3, San Francisco next week. I forgot who they got after that, but they're all road games. So we'll see what they're really made at.
We will see. The only thing I know, one Miami team ain't made of, and that's my beloved Hurricanes. I know you're a Hurricane fan. The beating that I had to witness, I was telling people I drove down to see this beating, and it broke my heart. It absolutely broke my heart.
Oh, did great.
So what do you got? What picks do you have?
Okay, let's get into my conference championships. We'll go real quick. I'm going to take all the favorites. Utah, USC, -3. Kansas State at TCU, -2.5. I picked against TCU twice this year. Cost me both times. Picked in favor of Kansas State. Cost me both times. LSU at Georgia, -17. It's like a home game for Georgia in Atlanta. They should crush LSU. Clemson, -7 at North Carolina. And Purdue at Michigan -16.5. Michigan didn't have a tough game.
No.
I mean, they just had their way with Ohio State. So I don't think they got anything to worry about against Purdue. So those are my picks for the conference championship. Now, my pick for tonight, I'm going to take Indy -2.5 at home. My upset.
2.5. That's all they're getting is 2.5 at home.
I hear 2.5. I should be into an auction. I hear 2.5. But anyway, my upset of the week, the Jets +3 at the Vikings.
Wow.
They look pretty good today. Look good with that new quarterback, White. That's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other guy should take the blame, take it like a man, act like a man.
I hope you're right. He was a Cowboys backup, so I have a soft spot for him. So I hope he's
anyway. That's how I like the Jets. My lock is going to be Denver or Baltimore. I'm going to take Ravens -8. After what happened to them yesterday, I don't think they're going to let this get away. And Denver, if they're only going to score 14, 16 points tops. You know that. That's a fact of life.
They're terrible.
Baltimore, all they got to do is score 25. you win the bet. My lock, like I've told you guys, I hate beating the dead horse. You play my lock, you're at 80%. You want to fool around with these other games? Let's play the one game, the one lock. You'll be at 80%. And I bet a couple large on Miami myself, and I got nervous in the second half.
No.
Started getting, as soon as they took him out, because he got twisted up a little bit, I said, oh, they're going to let him get enough
To
not
cover.
cover.
No.
And it was close. It was only 4 points. They would have got the ball back. Like I said, the pros, they don't care if they win by one. College, what do they call it? Beauty points or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
So they got to win by 60.
Well, they gotta send a
They
message.
got people
to
that
the
vote
voters.
on them. The other pros, they don't care.
Win's a win.
But anyway, that's my fix. Stand by, especially Baltimore, Denver. Watch out. They're going to really roll the Broncos.
They're gonna embarrass them.
Because I think they left Jacksonville with a horrible taste in their mouth. It was a long flight home to Baltimore. And who the hell wants to go back to Baltimore anyway? But anyway, they'll win that game easily. And watch the Jets, the Vikings.
That surprised me. I can't
That'd
go
be
on
good for
that.
you if they can pull it off.
Yeah. Well,
Uncle
we
Cheech
will
knows what
see.
he's talking about.
No, I
Go to
can't question him. I'm not going to question him, but
Go
we'll
to the bank
see.
anymore. After all these winnings with Uncle Cheech, I go to the bank anymore, and they're beginning to question me. I got to fill out certain items that they're sending
I
up
went
to.
to tracks. When did I go? Saturday? No, not Saturday. Friday. I think it was Friday. Friday. It didn't do too good at the track either.
Someone just commented they thought they saw you at the track, so
Oh, they
that must have
probably
been
did.
Uncle Cheech. Must have been
I
Uncle
at the
Cheech.
track. I like to go now and then, fool around the horse. I don't bet much. Go out, have a couple of hot dogs, a couple of beers.
No, it's a
Maybe
good
now
time.
and then I might get up, play a little blackjack. I get to eat. But anyway,
No, that's
I
good.
like to bet. I like to bet the Trotters. It killed me when they closed Pompano Harness down.
oh, terrible.
Yeah.
It's
I go
ridiculous.
all the time.
Yeah.
All right, Uncle Cheech. We appreciate
All right,
it.
you guys
And
have a
make
good
sure
night.
I told you before. I told Jimmy. I don't know if I told you yet, Jimmy. Tulsa King. Make sure that's my recommended series to check out with Sylvester Stallone.
I got
Excellent, excellent. movie.
flashbacks to my own man.
Yeah, that was good. All right, I'll see you. Take
All
care.
right, I'll talk to you.
Grazie. A presto.
Have a good one.
Oh man. So
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know if you saw Tulsa King. I don't know if any of our people any of the viewers have. If you haven't yet watched it, check it out. If you like those kind of, you like the gangster movies, Sylvester Stallone's in there. It's good. It's a good movie, or a good series, not movie, good series. I watched the first 2 episodes, waiting to watch a third one when I get done here. I think we're going to check that out and get that going. But definitely, if you haven't checked it out, check it out, Jimmy. You'll like it.
Yeah. Rocky, I love it. No, you know what? It's funny. I was actually listening. I'm not going to go off topic here, but I was listening to a podcast I listened to with this Michael Franzese, and he loves it. And this guy was in that life, and he said, it's loosely related, but he said,
it is.
Right, But Uncle Cheech picking the Jets, taking the Jets. Man,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to put some money down on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we got another chat. Sly is hilarious. And Jack said, my favorite was when I don't want to give all this stuff away, but when he was, he took the girl back to his hotel. And then the next morning she asked him how old he was. And he's like, well, was it matter? And she goes, just how old? He goes, I was in high school when JFK was assassinated or president, something like that. She goes, what? And she ran out of it because he was like, you have to watch it. It's funny. Sylvester Stallone. That's why, I love Rocky. Everyone knows. I mean, Rocky is one of my favorites. It pains me that it's set in Philadelphia, and I got to deal with that, and all of that stuff that goes with it. But I mean, there's nothing better than Rocky. I don't care. So
The only real statue in Philadelphia. It's a fictional character.
Yeah, there it is. 18 when JFK got shot. So it was great. It was funny. But getting back to football, we talk about the Cowboys. I made notes to make sure I don't forget nothing. The Vikings bounce back. So now the big thing is, you and I talked about it earlier in the season. You got Deshaun Watson. He should be returning. So
Yeah.
he should have his return game against the Texans, his old team. The Texans are depleted. I mean, they're a terrible football team. So all being said, is there's a lot of feeling. I mean, they should trounce them. There's been some question: are you going to ride Brissett a little bit more? They won a nice game against Tampa. They're not. I mean, they're 4-7, I think, or something like that. They're not going anywhere. Or are you going to just bring Watson back right away and just kind of let him go? And like someone said, man, you're paying him $250 guaranteed. He's going to play.
Yeah, you know what it is, and I watched some of that Dolphins game yesterday, and the Texans was awful. They're terrible. But that being said, I would love nothing better than the Texans to pull off something this upcoming week. And I think a lot of people feel the same way because, again, it gets back to the NFL. They're hypocritical. They got exactly what they wanted. They got, okay, we're going to appeal it, and all of a sudden it just so happened that that suspension ends this week.
Yeah. Well, they know what they're doing.
It's all posturing.
Yeah. Oh, another Sly fan thinks he's not in Creed 3. Yeah, I guess they're killing him off, or I don't know what they're doing with him in Creed 3. I guess he's just letting that Rocky franchise move on without him. But those are good too. Those are good too if you like them.
I never got into those. My kids are into the Creeds. I love the original Rocky.
No, I tell you, there's some stuff because you got the Creed, right, with the first one, which is kind of good, and then Creed 2, he's Drago's back in it, and he ends up fighting Drago's kid. So for us who grew up on that kind of stuff, it ties us into that story. But for the younger generation, they don't know it, so they learn a little bit about it. Then they go back to watch, Rocky IV if they haven't already. So, man, Jose is relentless on you. Falcons are as booty as Jalen Tolbert. That's booty, right now. That's not good for you, Jimmy.
Man, wait, taking cheap shots at me. Come on.
A lot of cheap shots.
I'm in isolation over this game. And as a matter of fact, this place I'm in isolation. They're about to cut me off in a minute. About to cut the Wi-Fi off, just so you know.
Oh, we got to watch it. But no, we covered everything. So I don't know if there's anything else you wanna touch on, Jimmy. Did I leave anything out that's on your mind?
No. I think we went over everything.
All right. So
like I said, I'm just pissed. After that game yesterday. Like I said, I'm so disgusted. I shut the TV off and watched the Knicks game, and the Knicks blew it in the fourth quarter too. I said, you can't make it up, man. Just a bad day in sports for me yesterday.
Yeah. Well, someone give you a little love. They said the Falcons still have a chance for the garbage division they're in, and that's true.
Hey,
I mean, you still got a chance. You had an opportunity to kind of move up a little bit, and that would have helped you. But you guys, that's the good part about it. But again, we'll wrap it up. Again, appreciate you checking out the show. Make sure if you're new, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. It always doesn't hurt, doesn't cost you nothing. It helps us out. Of course, follow us on all social media platforms. MTAG1993. You got Jimmy D, which I think I got on here because you got a bunch of fours. If
44,
right.
44.
Throw that back on there. You got Jimmy D.
We are your leading.
Yes.
We are your leading the Monday Night Football. Don't forget that.
And more importantly, Uncle Cheech is now on Twitter. He's just getting started, so you can always follow him at Uncle Cheech28. Get him going. He's going to start learning how to tweet and give some inside information, some advice. So make sure you guys check him out and follow him. Obviously, all the platforms you can see us on with Tag Nation on Facebook. We appreciate the support, appreciate the love. Cowboys Nation, I love you, and I'm going to be out at AT&T because we're going to handle that business. Nothing better than being AT&T on Sunday night, especially when we slap around them Colts a little bit. So I've got some extra special things in store. Might be a throwback, here or there. We'll figure it out. But I've got some surprises up my sleeve. I told you I'm going with a Colts fan, so I got to make sure I can't leave unhappy. I got to make sure I leave very happy, and he leaves upset.
On a side note, anybody who's there in person who meets the Colts fan, make sure you call him Bert, and you'll know why when you see him.
Does Uncle Cheech? Oh, we'll find out. He might have some inside connections on that blue pill. We'll find out. We'll work that. That'll be a question for next week when we get him back on. He said he's always out at the pool with the ladies, so he's got to be using something to help him out. I barely do that nowadays. So anyway, you guys, I appreciate it. We'll leave you with a little love. I'm going back to AT&T, so I figured I'll throw an AT&T one out that we did after the beating of Philly. So we'll see you. Jimmy, you take care of yourself. Be safe where you're at. Make sure you get back home
Thanks.
safe and sound, and hopefully your Falcons bounce back for you, brother. I'll see you, man. You guys
Appreciate
take care. All right.
You know your boy's gonna be there. You know I'm gonna be hyped. I need you guys to be hyped with me. You feel what I'm saying?